All right there, folks. All right there, Dan.
Hi, mate. How are you?
Good, thanks. We're back for another lesson, aren't we?
Would seem so. I'm feeling a little under the weather right now. So if I'm slower than average...
Don't forget your coffee. That's
slovenly Davies. That's the reason why.
Well, we had a good lesson last time on rhythm. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, they seem to be quite popular, the lessons on rhythm. As I've said previously, I think it's possibly a tack that not everyone kind of goes down. However, yeah. I understand you and our friend Tim have been sort of looking at some of the videos of the pedal show.
We have, yeah. We saw a great video on that pedal show about how to set up your sound for two guitars. Yeah. And so Tim and I have both kind of come with you with a similar question, really, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Asking about our own band, where we've got two guitars and very little time to work out our parts, really. Mm-hmm. And what advice you've got us for some of the songs we do.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a subject that it really needs to be addressed. Yeah. And, you know, I sort of hats off Dan and Nick on the pedal show for addressing it. Yeah. You know, because it's one of those things that it doesn't happen by accident. Now, I've played in many different kinds of setups. I've played in bands where we've got, you know, 4 of us or 3 of us, or it's a duo, yeah, or literally you're gigging on your own with an acoustic guitar. And I've played with big bands too, you know, some big sort of jazz bands, swing bands, and each different sort of kind of band and however many members they have puts a different slant on things. Yeah. Now I realise with your band you're a 5-piece, aren't you?
Yeah, there's 5 of us. We've got keyboard in there as well, which is
6.
Yeah, well, he's singing and playing keyboards, so there's only 5 of us, but 6.
Well, but 6
pieces.
Instruments.
Yeah.
I mean, the more people who sing and that sort of thing, and if they sing well and can sing harmony especially, that really, really helps with the sound of a band.
Our drummer sings some harmonies.
That's cool too, because that's a rare thing, so hold on to him.
Yeah.
So, yesterday I was talking to Tim about this video, and we looked at a few songs which had entered into your set. Yeah. And hopefully, saying what these songs are, as we're pretty small time, won't get us knocked off of YouTube.
Yeah. As long as I think, so long as we don't
in
actually.
The style of.
Yeah. In the style of. Wink.
No. I'm just going to wink to a blind horse.
Bad companies making, feel like making love. There you go.
and also,
we're also doing the One I Love by REM. Yeah,
that's it.
They're the new ones that we haven't really sort of worked out our parts for yet.
Now, I've played both songs in bands.
Ah, that's handy.
It does help. The One I Love I played in a band with just one guitar player. Yeah. So when I was chatting to Tim about coming up with an alternative part, there are definitely things that we could do, but it's going to be a little bit of a case of sort of shoehorning that part in there. Yeah. Rather than there being naturally a part sort of made for you to fit. Okay. If you're writing your own music, of course you can do as you please. Yeah. If you're creating music that some, you know, sort of covering songs, you know, recreating music that other people have written, then their instrumentation is going to have an effect on
what you're doing.
Yeah, what you're doing, how creative you need to be, and all that sort of thing. Yeah. You know, I will say when you're in a 3-piece, you know, you still have to watch your dynamics. Yeah. You still have to kind of put all the peaks and troughs in there. So, you know, traditionally, when we get to a chorus, you know, we want it to be really banging, but a verse, it might peel it back a little bit more. But if we're talking a second guitar, then a second guitar could literally be playing sort of second fiddle to what the main guitar's doing. Yeah.
Higher up the neck, taking up some other frequencies or something.
Right. Now, frequencies, that's an interesting thing. And, yeah, I think we do need to discuss that in a little while. I think we should play guitar, though.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'll put my coffee back down. There we go. No rest for the wicked.
Less for the righteous.
Yes.
As I always say, you know, I haven't sat down and meticulously studied REM, but I listened to the track, I listened to how it sounded, I probably looked at a few tabs at the time and maybe watched a few people, including them, play it live.
Yeah.
But I came up with parts that worked and parts that gave it space where need be and made it nice and rocky where need be.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So, what have you got for the opening riff, or do you know what Tim's got, should I say? Because he's got sort of the...
Yeah, he's got the opening riff, I think.
So, I mean, this is what I played for the one I love. Or something similar.
Yeah.
So, I'm playing a fairly big, open-sounding riff, going from that big open E to an E minor, where I'm hitting the bass, then the treble, and the third and fourth on the bottom string.
That's better.
Then to a D sus2. Absolutely fine. Works for the intro, works for the chorus.
Yep.
But what are you going to do if you're the other guitar player?
Exactly, yeah.
Because if you just strum your way through things, you're going to end up with a wall of noise.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No, I mean, you know, Oasis made an entire career out of it, that kind of sort of wall of slightly kind of messy open, sort of open position chords. And if you want that sound...
It hasn't got longevity, really.
Well, unless you're playing an Oasis tune. Now, if I'm playing an Oasis tune, that's what I'll use. That's the way they sound. That's what we're going to use. But at the same time, REM aren't sitting there with really blocky power chords all the time either.
No, that's right, yeah.
So what I did after that was I then mellowed everything down for the verse. But we're going to look at what you could play over the intro before we move on.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
So one thing I suggested to Tim was maybe if you were using a slightly cleaner sound, and you were sort of doing almost like octaves.
Oh yeah.
But also including the top two strings. And then moving around the chords. To have just the right amount of wash.
Yeah.
Without
wash,
things getting wash.
That's cool.
Without things getting messy.
Can we give that another shout?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Actually, I should probably let it ring out even like.
Yeah.
Like that, mate. Just let it ring out over your riff.
The sound you've got there with sort of single chords, maybe with the volume backed off a little bit, so it's not as saturated, so it really kind of chimes. It never gets in the way then.
Bit out of tune.
Oh.
Nightmare.
It was in tune when he bought it.
Yeah. Carry on.
He went into the shop. I'm looking for a guitar. I don't want one that maintains its tuning, but I do want one that's in tune
at all costs.
That's it. Preferably one that
take it back.
Looks like a flipping twister.
Gonna take it back because it's out of tune.
Yes. Do it.
I wonder what they'd say to me.
If you live with me.
So no, yeah, that sounds really good. So that's a really, really good first kind of part over that.
Where you're not playing anything too weighty in the bass, it sort of keeps it out of the way, while still being actually quite a reasonably cool part to play, and it sort of emphasises those high strings, which in a way with the main riff kind of
that E's always ringing.
The main riff's quite meaty, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it kind of works with that.
But the E it's there in the D sus, it's there in the E, it's there the whole time. So you want to emphasise it. Nice.
If you wanted to make it meaty, the other option is to maybe play piano style where you're playing your pick.
I was just thinking maybe.
I used like an E power chord.
Oh, okay.
And there's G and A. So you could go higher up like I sort of went lower down.
Oh yeah.
Again, where you could possibly choose a less sort of washy and less maybe gainy sound, and you kind of avoid getting in the way of the other riff. Personally, I like the jingle jangle aspect.
No reason why can't write in both somehow.
Absolutely.
Like for the chorus or something, or one of the choruses.
Yeah, I mean sometimes a neat trick that you can do is, and it's really very simple, is just don't play anything.
Yeah. There is always that.
It's really tough, folks. There's a tab for it online. but literally, like your first maybe chorus or whatever, or your intro, you can actually sort of leave it to one guitar, or your first verse, leave it to one guitar, and then gradually bring your things in.
Part in. Yeah.
There are some people who are sort of masters of the arrangement.
Yeah.
And although it's a completely different musical style. You take Steve Vai For the Love of God. He starts that melody line with no vibrato. Yeah. And then he brings in the most gentle vibrato. And by the time he's got round to the sort of, some of the later sort of versions of the melody line, he's wringing the guitar's neck.
Yeah.
He's literally kind of ramping it up and up and up and up by a very, very controlled, in a very controlled manner.
Yeah.
Which is working very, very well.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're taking a leaf out of that kind of book, kind of backing off to begin with. And as the song starts to take off, let yourself take off. The thing is, if you hit a chorus and you've got nowhere to go, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
Vocals are a great way of giving you something more in a chorus.
Yeah.
A great way of giving you something more. And also, sort of opening the taps on your guitar a little bit and cranking up the
volume. The
volume, maybe a gainier, more in-your-face part, or a more sort of kind of less subdued and more rocky kind of part. Now, after the intro, it basically goes
what was the power chord one again that you were playing piano currently?
So we got 9 and 7, the 2 middle strings, then 5 and 7 on the A and D, and then down to a D power
chord. Okay, got it. Well.
Piano style, it sort of narrows things down a little bit, unless you can alternate the bass note and things and play maybe more of a jazzy or swing feel. Thinking of the kind of the money for nothing vibe. Yeah.
That kind of picking fingers type. Well, just fingers.
Or A Long Way to the Top by ACDC.
Yeah.
Where again you've got.
Wasting staccato type thing.
Yeah. And that seems to take up a much more slim place in the mix. We were talking about frequency and finding your frequency that works for you. I've got a kind of a little take on this.
Yeah.
If I'm going out and I'm playing with another guitar player, most of the guitar players I have the pleasure of playing with, you kind of know what, unless they're going to throw you for a curveball, you know what rig they're going to turn up with.
Yeah.
Because that's the main rig. And in some cases, their only sort of amp.
Yeah.
An electric guitar that they're going to play live. So you're sort of aware in advance.
Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah.
It is. So I knew one guy who used to turn up with a maple neck sort of super Strat, which he kind of made himself like a parts caster. And his brother who made a 45 watt Marshall Plexi style master volume amp, which he put pedals through the front. So it was like really like the classic Marshall tone, really. Yeah. And then he'd managed to squeeze a few other things out of it. And so you know kind of what you're getting. And then I played with another guy who usually used a Sur S4 guitar, which again was a super Strat, basswood, maple top, maple neck, and then he would put that through an Engel Steve Morse head into an Engel 2x12 cabinet. And although there were quite a lot of sounds, we kind of got to know the kind of sounds that he picked. If I'm playing with Alex, just like me, he plays the Cornford MK50 and the Marshall JVM2 combo. And just like me, he has
nice GG.
He has a Sir Guthrie Govan. Now this presents a problem because also we have very similar sort of tonal tastes. Yeah, it's funny, the things that bind you together, because you're like, no, that sounds really cool, that sounds great, can also be sort of the things that you
sit on top of each other with.
Can be a stumbling block. So unless I've got a really good reason to take my Sir guitar out, like there's a problem with the sound that I'm getting and I need to rectify it, I tend to reserve it for lessons and other gigs. Whereas my other guitars, my PRS, my Humbucker single Strat and the Les Paul, those get more airtime with the band that I play with Alex. Yeah. Because the best thing I can do is bring some kind of separation between his sound and mine. Yeah. And really a Les Paul sounds nothing like the Sir.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that they're going through the same amps or
no, I mean, although pedals. The amp's still got a certain kind of tone, it's quite a different sound that I'm getting, and our guitar styles are a little different as well. Again, my PRS is quite different to anything he's got, as is my Strat. Yeah. But on the odd occasion we have both taken the Sir guitars out, it is embarrassingly close. Yeah. Tonally. Yeah. And you kind of think, actually, I want something to sound different here. So one thing you can do, obviously you've got the pickup selections available on your guitar. So if someone's playing a really rocky sound, maybe if you're the other guitar player playing with them,
go for a twangy sound,
or maybe something with just a whole bunch less saturation if they're using a very saturated sound. If their sound is chock full of effects, maybe try something that's a lot lighter on the effects, and so you get less sort of mess in the mix. Yeah, that kind of thing. And sometimes it's also about what you play. If they're going out there and they're playing quite a lot. Now, I used to have this when I played in a 3-piece. We would occasionally do 4-piece gigs, but because most of the guys who played in the 3-piece band didn't really do many 4-piece gigs, they were like the only guitar player. It always seemed to be that they turned up and played it as if they were the only guitar player. Yeah. Excuse me. Now that meant the Muggins here
had to do all the legwork.
Yeah, I had to work around. I mean, I remember doing one gig once and working with one of the guitarists, and we started, Kings of Leon, Sex on Fire. Got to be done there. And we both came in with a riff. Yeah. And then I saw from the other side of the stage that he was playing it. And so I thought, right, okay, I need to do the chords. And so I swapped over. And it's almost like, you know, kind of seeing what he's doing and then jumping on something completely opposite. But it can be hard to do that if you haven't got quite that amount of stuff in your trick bag to draw on. Then you're going to need to do it before you get to that stage, before you're at the
gig. You're at the actual gig, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I often found myself playing quite complementary parts.
Yeah.
Luckily, the way I play, sometimes I play, if we're playing a pop song, I play, even in a three-piece guitar-orientated band, I'll play more of a supporting role. The vocal's the most important thing. And that in itself might well stay out of the way of what the other guy's doing.
Yeah.
So my advice would be sometimes pick different sounds.
Have a plan.
Have a plan, but pick different sounds to what the other guy's using. You know, if he's churning it out on the bridge pickup, would you be better off on a single coil setting if he's kind of pounding away on a humbucker setting?
Yeah.
You know, if he's using a really thick tone, would you be better off using a skinny tone?
Yeah.
Now, all this is down to your discernment. Now, I've always said with songs, you should never whiz on a Picasso.
Yeah.
You know, if there is a solo or something or a really cool part, and it is what it is, don't mess with it. If it's that good a part, stick with it.
Yeah.
But also be aware of where you can be a little bit more open to suggestions of putting more of your own personality in there.
Where you could add a bit of shimmer or a bit of glitz on top or something.
Well, like, for example, we do quite a lot of Pink Floyd stuff.
Yeah.
We are a 4-piece rock band. So to bring it, even though Dave Gilmour, I wouldn't say uses a particularly heavily affected sound from what I can gather on that song, there's so many keyboards, so many synths, so many things to fill the air. You don't want it sounding empty and thin when someone goes for a solo. So actually sort of having sounds like I use a delay which shoots the repeats up an octave is the timeline I'm setting.
Yeah.
And I can actually pick any of the 12 chromatic notes for it to shoot the delay repeats up to. So you can have it a third, a fifth, a fourth, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's very, very effective in kind of almost putting a bit of fairy dust on it. Like a
sounds like there's 100 other people. Yeah.
It sounds big. It can sound like there's almost like a pad going on underneath it, but there's not. If we're playing Purple Rain by Prince, I'll use what's called a smear delay, which takes the delays and it kind of smooths them out into one another. It's almost like a halfway house between reverb and delay, but it really, really works. And for that song, it's great. You know, if you only got one reverb pedal or one reverb setting on your pedal, you can't flick from one to the other. You can't have a big reverb and a small reverb. The smear delay kind of takes care of some of that by giving you that sort of ambience that maybe you would have got using a different kind of effect. So thinking outside of the box a little bit, you know, if you're adding effects, is it because you always add them, or are they adding something to it?
Yeah.
I always think with some effects that some of it, you know, is very sort of indicative of the time.
Yeah.
So like, I will use a MXR Phase 90 or Money by Pink Floyd when we play that, because it's got that kind of 70s vibe.
Of the time.
Yeah, it's got the 70s written all over it. Whereas if you're doing the Prince thing, you know, it's a pristine digital delay.
Yep.
You know, and a pristine digital chorus because it was the 80s. And that's what was popular.
That's what you got to go for. You got to think about the time, yeah.
You do. So that magically sort of turns your sound into a slightly more kind of 80s influenced vibe.
Yeah.
You know, with lots of grease on your guitar, it turns you into Steve Vai in a heartbeat.
Authenticity and stuff, yeah.
To a degree, I mean, if we were being truly authentic, I guess we'd have the original effects and the original amp selection, but it's just not practical for the majority of us. But, you know, your choices as far as guitars go, settings on guitars, as much as anything. You know, one thing which you see in music quite a lot is where a rhythm part is doubled. Now, you have to be a pretty tight player to double someone's rhythm. But, often somebody will go in and say over a kind of like a hard rock song or something, someone will lay down like a gainier, more saturated sound using like a super Strat with a hot bridge pickup, more gain. And then they'll go back over it with a Telecaster or a Les Paul through a plexi to get the definition. And when you mix the two sounds back together, you get that definition.
I think they on that pedal show they mentioned Tom Petty as a brilliant example of that. Who else did they mention? Should have mentioned someone else. Maybe it was even Bad Company. It might have been, but yeah, definitely Tom Petty.
So let's look at the verse in this song.
Yeah.
Once we get beyond the verse and chorus, there's not a lot left to really deal with, is there? So what I suggested for maybe the verse, it all kind of calms down. So what I used to play in the verse on this song went something like this. Then we're into the chorus.
Yeah.
So I was really going between E minor, so E minor 7, and then when you take a C shape, you move it up 2 frets, like an open C chord. So you get the F sharp in it, like it's a D, but you get the open G as well.
Yeah.
Which gives it a nice, kind of floaty quality.
Would you have played like a sus, like that kind of doubling up the top?
You could do, it's an option. So if that's sort of the kind of part that Tim's playing, or he might be putting the D down here. I was suggesting that there's several ways to go with it.
Yeah. One
way to go with it is you could play sort of chord shapes.
Right.
Like that. And that's it, and then down to like the D. If you were quite low in the mix, audible but quite low.
It's nice. It's a nice part. It's a nice part. Yeah, try and keep the strings kind of almost single as much as you can as well, I think, isn't it?
You could even, and again this is sort of, I suppose, back to the back to the arranging and the sort of thinking of what other sounds you could use. You could even have quite a nice delay and so play even more sparse, but let the delay fill the air a little bit, give you some of that space.
Yeah, nice. With a delay. Let the delay do it.
Yeah. Because again, Tim's down the bottom, you're working at the top. You could take it as high up as you wanted to. You could even start it up here.
Can you start in the kind of A minor shape?
So there.
Oh, well, the
16, 17, 15. use a fairly sizable delay, which I do not have with me.
Could I give that another shot over your...
Yeah, of course. 2, 3. So my other thought was you could have maybe a delay.
Yep.
When, pick out.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bit of practice on that always.
Yeah, you could even have that with a nice delay and an octave pedal or something like that, just to so it's not kind of too weedy sounding. Yeah. But I mean, something like that's quite sort of subtle.
Yes, yeah, that would sound good.
And for the chorus, I mean, the chorus is where it gets pretty meaty, really.
G. So kind of full chords higher up or something like that. So G like up here.
So you could. I mean, it wants to be meaty. So probably I would keep it fairly straight, maybe almost.
Yeah. Full chords.
Full. Slightly different at the end. It goes to the D and the E minor again at the end.
So it's
I mean, you can even, if you want to kind of like, when someone's playing something kind of more rhythmic for that particular part, if he's doing like the intro-y bit, you can always keep it quite sort of blocky, You need a few different things up your sleeve, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah.
I mean, often when I'm playing with Alex, for example, I will split things up. So if we do something like a whole lot of Rosie by ACDC, so he's going to, after intro, he's going to carry up there.
Yeah.
So I will come up with this figure. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, 2, 3, 4. You come in.
I'm coming in on the 1. Yeah.
Yeah. You just go for it. I'll join you. So you're doing the one down the bottom. I'm playing this up top. I'll put that on here. So it brings, where it's higher up, it brings definition. Because essentially I'm playing a power chord but an octave up.
Would you, for the one I love, would you go from, because we've got a kind of thin sound on the single pickup for the first bit, this kind of forgotten it now.
I think with the jingle jangle in the top, you really need to keep it sort of quite bright and clear.
Yeah.
You know, also with what someone else is doing.
So then for the main chord, would you literally just down into the...
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You know, yeah, probably do that.
Go to the
go
bridge
for
pickup.
full humbucker, yeah.
That kind of thing, yeah?
Yeah.
That's quite blocky.
I was thinking about this sort of recently with the whole sort of frequencies and that sort of thing. And I thought, really, when you go from one guitar to another, okay, some guitars are fit for a certain purpose. So if you want a guitar to kind of play sort of metal and stuff like that, you know, you're going to want a certain kind of guitar, probably.
Yeah.
You know, if you want something that's really shred-worthy,
you're going to want a certain sort of guitar again.
That's right, if that's your thing. If you want a Les Paul sound, you know, you want it to sound like a Les Paul. Most of us want it to sound like a classic Les Paul. This is one of the arguments sort of put forward to Gibson. Luckily, they listened recently when they still do the guitars with cold taps and all that sort of thing, and all the switching. But now their standard is based on a 50s or 60s generic Les Paul. Depending on which one you choose. And that's what people want. When people think of a Les Paul, especially a Les Paul standard, they think of something like this.
Yeah.
Where it's a 3-position switch to volume, 2 tone, 2 humbuckers.
Yeah.
And no messing around.
A whole lot of Rosie.
So, you know, when we buy one guitar or another guitar, or we come to choose what we're wanting to buy.
Yeah.
You know, I realise the drivers for buying a new instrument are wide and varied.
Yeah.
For some people, it's I've got some cash in my pocket, I just want to blow it. For other two people, it's my heart's been set on such and such a guitar, or I want to buy it for my 50th birthday because it's a really special purchase.
Yeah.
You know, for other people, maybe working musicians, you know, they're now doing this or that or the other.
They might buy them and sell them depending on their jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is the thing. The Sir Guthrie Govan that Alex has got originally belonged to Adam Goldsmith.
Oh yeah,
who's
told me that.
One of the
amazing.
Sort of UK's most renowned sort of session guitar players.
Yeah.
And he does all kinds of work. The guy's never out of work, forever doing TV work and all sorts of things. And he did a tweet when he got the guitar. He tweeted like, "This is the best guitar I've ever bought. It's amazing." But clearly he didn't hang on to it.
Yeah.
It did a job that he needed it to do. And when he was interviewed a few years ago about what makes a great all-rounder, he said for him the two guitars that stand out, because he said that sometimes the problem you have is you get a guitar that sounds like everything and nothing. So he said for him, he finds the 335 is a really great all-rounder. It still sounds like the guitar it is, but he said, it can be quite surprisingly jangly.
Yeah, it's got split coils usually, and
I mean, most 335s are like the old school Gibsons where they
don't have that, yeah.
No, whereas like yours, the Epiphone Pro, that has that as a sort of a...
I like that little feature, actually. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, it can be useful, but I mean, even on its own, it's got a lot of maple in the building stage, you know, for the neck and the body, and that imparts a very different sound.
Right.
You know, a much brighter sound. Maple was a very, very, very hard wood. But then he also was saying the other guitar that he really likes. He's got what's his name? Rory Gallagher. Custom shop Strat, and he's had a sort of a humbucker Strat-sized humbucker pickup put in the bridge just to give it a bit more wallop at the bridge. And he said that again, it still sounds like a Strat, you know, a bit like mine.
Yeah.
But it's every inch Strat tonality, but the humbucker just expands what the guitar can do. So, long story short, I was thinking, you know, we like lots of different guitars. What's it all about? And okay, yeah, some people buy them because they love the look of them, or some people buy them because, as I say, they've got money burning a hole in their pocket. But if we're buying them for the right reasons, i.e., you know, not that there's any rules, you know, if you want to buy a guitar,
yeah, go ahead.
Be my guest, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
But if we're buying them for sonic reasons, I don't have that sound in my collection of guitars, and it's the sound I would like to have. And it's the sound that I'd like to use for recording. It's the sound I'd like to use for a live show. I don't have a Telecaster. And although I never used a Tele much for live work, I think if I had one I really liked, I would.
Yeah.
And actually, I do miss, after having a few Teles over the years, I do miss not having a Tele, because the Strat just isn't the same.
Yeah. Les
Paul's a completely different beast. PRS, it's nothing like it. A Super Strat is about as far removed from a Tele as you can possibly get. But, you know, something like a Tele or a 335 or a Les Paul, they're all made differently, they all sound differently, they're all tapping into slightly different frequencies. And so when you're listening to a Les Paul, although you might get some quite bright Les Pauls, for the most part, they have usually a slightly mellower voice. Sort of maybe. You know, a slightly kind of more plummy.
Yeah, plummy is a good description for it. Yeah,
sort of tone. Whereas
earthy,
yeah. With Strats, you know, you've got that woody bite of the neck pickup, but it's full of sort of warmth and bottom end underneath it. Yeah, you know, and the kind of quite delicate sounds of the in between settings on a Strat. Yeah, you know, so all the guitars have their own kind of frequencies in a way that they're good at. You know, when you look at even just pickups, for example, you know, humbuckers tend to be more centered around the mid-range. You get some humbuckers that are very bright, but usually, if you were to take like a vintage humbucker and a vintage single coil, although you might get quite a bright humbucker being a vintage, it's likely it would have, by its very nature and design, a little more kick in the mids than the equivalent Strat pickup. Yeah. You know,
putting out the mids a bit more.
Yeah, so you can understand if that's like a sad face EQ, rolling off the top, rolling off the bottom, accentuating the mids, and the Strat is like a smiley face EQ. Yeah. Where we've got sort of quite a lot of bottom, quite a lot of top, and not much in the middle. When the two combine, they work.
Yeah. They fill in the gaps that the other is leaving for them.
Yeah, exactly. And also it gives, I think when you're playing in a band like I do, where we've got a lot of solos, we've got a lot of guitar opportunities, as it flits from one player to another, you can tell who's playing. I mean, you've been singing enough time,
very much,
and you can tell what we're playing.
Very different voices,
different, absolutely, and that all kind of goes in the big old melting pot. So some of it is down to your guitar part, some of it is down to the sounds that you choose with that particular guitar, and sometimes it'll be down to
the guitar.
Yeah. I mean, like, one thing that I tend to do on every guitar that I come in contact with, unless it hasn't got a tone control, is if I'm playing using gain, I usually roll the tone back. And it's simply because I don't like sounds that are too harsh. So, you know, on this Les Paul...
Ice picky.
Yeah, sometimes they're not even overly harsh.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I've rolled the tone back on the neck pickup of this Les Paul.
Lovely.
It's only just knocked back a couple of notches.
Nice. Yeah.
But it makes a difference. On my bridge pickup, I'm down to about 5.5 on the tone. If I max it out to 10, it's only a little subtle difference. But you can hear that it's a bit more bitey.
Yeah.
So I dial some of that out. Or I leave enough in so there's clarity aplenty.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah. So when you're choosing your sounds, you know, be sympathetic.
Yeah.
You know, what's the
way
other
you're going to fit in the whole mix.
What's the other guy? You know, what's the other guy doing? You know, what's he playing? I mean, I've played plenty of weddings, believe it or not. Well, I played Les Paul at a wedding.
Yeah.
You know, no single coil sounds.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
I don't
get
tend
some
to...
good sounds with it, though.
Oh yeah, I mean,
in the middle, in particular, isn't it? If you like rolling back.
Yeah, I mean, in the middle, you got. You sort of Hendrix isms.
Yeah, it's convincing. Nice. Yeah, it's a nice blend.
It is. So, yeah, even with a Les Paul, you know, although we've got no single coil sounds here, you know, we can sort of emulate some of those sounds, and maxing the tones out makes the sound brighter still.
Yeah.
You know, which again sort of might help to kind of emphasise some of the sort of single coilness in the tone.
Okay.
You know, so even if you're playing with a guitar that may, you know, the excuse might be, well, I'm playing with a guitar with fairly limited sounds. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you can't get the sounds that you require. Sometimes you just got to be a little bit cleverer with it. Most guitars have some kind of treble bleed. This is a capacitor over the volume, which as you roll back the volume, the sound either increases in brightness or certainly doesn't get dull because the bottom end is rolled off, leaving the treble frequencies. That you can actually use to your advantage. So, you know, I've got that on my Strat. I had somebody fit that onto my Strat because it didn't come as standard. And it's made it a far more usable guitar because I can roll that volume back. Yeah. And we just get lovely, lovely shimmer.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You know, and plenty of top end, which doesn't kind of tread on anybody's toes. You know, so a bit of sympathy for what the other guy's playing, a bit of sympathy for what the other guy's choosing as a tone.
Yeah.
You know, and also, as I say, you know, if a part is a cool part, play that part.
Yeah, yeah.
If there isn't one, you have to get, what's the word, inventive and creative.
What have you done on that other,
Oh, right. Sorry, this requires drinking of the coffee. My coffee has been sitting here for about, I don't know, I dread to think.
Don't mind.
Coffee's good.
That's kind of about where that sound needs to be, isn't it, I think, actually.
So this other track was Feel Like Making Love by Bad Company. So yeah, you've got the original thing. Yeah. That's right, isn't it?
I'll play it out there.
Okay, so this is where this is where I'll make a bizarre reference for you.
Yeah.
There used to be in Guitarist magazine, my favourite guitar magazine.
Yes, yeah.
There used to be a little article every month in there, way back in the day, and it was called the Style File.
Yeah.
And they would look into somebody's guitar playing, as famous guitar player, and they would see what they do.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, you don't need to be Slash or Eric Clapton or Alan Holdsworth or Dave Gilmour to have your little idiosyncrasies in your playing. The little things that you do, and maybe only you do, maybe you figure them out and you kind of like them, and they kind of work for you.
Yeah.
Well, I know I've got lots of those.
Yeah.
And they are actually very useful.
Yeah.
Now, some months ago, it's probably more like a year or two ago, in my band we were trying to do, again, it's an all-guitar band as we know, we were trying to do a version of Run Like Hell by Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
But we don't want to just be playing the same thing all the time. So you got one guy doing this. Go from a D shape all the way up to the 14th fret, straightforward D up an octave, to an A. Then slide it down 2 frets for a G, then to a D. That's it. D shape again at the 9th, and then at the 7th, give us A, and then G. So A and D.
So you got
Now, while that's all going on, we've got a multi-tap delay as well, doing its thing and giving us some lovely, crazy sounds.
Yeah.
But I thought, do I want to be playing the same thing as Al?
Well, no.
He says no.
Yeah.
So I decided to play this. I've done is rejig my inversions. So I've got the D.
Yeah, so
mine's on 11,
down.
10, 10.
Yeah.
While you're on the
then
it goes to the D shape at the 9th.
Yeah, which I'm going to hit soon.
So I went from the D shape at the 7th, give me a G, to like the A shape down at the 5, 7, 7. So like that, 7, 7, 5. And then I've got the A. So 6, 5, 5. And G.
And then you got G.
So A. And back to the D. I played it higher up. Just a dance.
Yeah.
So when you put the two parts together, you know, we can get them nicely in sync, same delay settings. Now, I know I was talking earlier about splitting up the, the sort of effects a bit. On that song, it just seems right to both have the same settings as you're trying to duplicate what each other's doing, but essentially in different, what should we call
inversions or
different
frequencies.
Yeah, different inversions, different registers. So should we try it? 1, 2, 3.
No, I'm also in the wrong place. There we go.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
So you get the idea.
Get the idea, yeah.
So
Exactly in sync.
Not perfectly, but it'll do close enough for rock and roll tonight. So when we're talking about the film like Making Love, it's also in D.
Yeah.
It's also in D major.
Yeah.
So if you think of that first thing you've got. Same thing again. So I was playing this. Whoa.
Yeah, okay. Cool. So over. I get those ones.
2, 3, 4. So you should be going from D to C on that one. That's it.
Yeah.
3, 4. So I moved, I saw what you did there, I moved down.
Okay, yeah, because that's my part's kind of.
That's what sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Yeah.
So I carry on going down.
Yeah, gotcha. So you're up here. It's a G, yeah? C.
So that down.
Yeah, gotcha.
That sounds quite nice.
Sounds great, yeah. Sounds really good, yeah.
Now, Tim was doing the sort of arpeggiated bit in the verse.
Yeah. So I pick up the bass lines and what I'm doing.
Well, I was going to show you what I had in mind.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Now, thinking of another song that I've often had to play, that's Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Scourge of the Nation. So, and that's what it does for the real riff.
Yeah.
But, 5 minutes of that is going to just drive me nuts.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't really then have any kind of steps apart from the one harmony vocal coming in. And you don't want to make it more distorted, it's just a bum fight. So what I figured out to do was this. How was it?
So it's got two parts to it.
Now, over that, this is going to work. So imagine you're playing Feel Like Making Love, like the arpeggiated bit.
Oh, right, okay.
And there's 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So all I had was a game like that, piano.
That sounds great, yeah.
For the D power chord and the C. And then you got this bit. second
Yeah.
of the D string against the open G.
Gotcha. Straight back in.
Back around again.
Oh, it's easy though.
Go to the G first.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Getting there slowly, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of line I play, and then for the chorus I open up into the normal Sweet Home Alabama thing. But it's basically a very similar, if not the same, chord set.
Yeah.
So you can do a similar thing. You know,
it is, yeah.
There's a lot of open strings there, so this is, I think, something which is indicative of my style, is you're utilising the open strings to...
I must admit, I'm sort of, on the C, I'm just kind of going, I'm sort of... That kind of...
You play
so
what you play.
Good.
I'll play. Don't worry about me, just play your thing.
Because it's got kind of just... I'm a bit confused now, actually, on that one, but... Because there is a C in there, but it's very fleeting. It's sort of just D and G, almost.
I just reflected it in my rhythm.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
With the chorus, now you could both power chord away.
Yeah.
What I suggested was that you got one person going. then I gave Tim that part. Double bend, unison bend. Five and five.
Gotcha. In there, isn't it? Yeah, nice. It's gonna sound good. I'm gonna have to go and work on it.
I once had a guy, and I kind of take this as quite a huge compliment in a way.
Yeah.
When I was working a lot in a three-piece band, I had a guy come to the gig, and he knew some of my friends there. He didn't really know me.
Yeah.
And he said to me, normally, I don't like classic rock. Just don't like it.
Yeah.
But he said, the way that you do it, I like it.
Yeah, that is a compliment.
It is. You know, things like Floyd, I mean, they've always had that amazing sort of ambience and atmosphere about their, what they do, which can be, quite hard to interpret, and get it just right. But with things like classic rock, back then guitar styles were a little different from what we have today. And some of it, deserves a shot in the arm.
Yeah.
I know Eddie Van Halen said that when he came along in '78, he felt guitar had died a death, what with disco and glam sort of making it kind of like pant its last breath. Yeah. And he felt he gave it a shot in the arm, sort of another chance of becoming popular and cool. And I think that's very, very true. And, sometimes when we look at songs, you think, I know they didn't have some of the sounds we have. Back then. I know that people, generally speaking, didn't always sort of, maybe sort of have such technical abilities. Because that kind of guitar playing was really reserved for a handful of people. Richie Blackmore was considered quite a technical guitar player. You compare him to someone like Yngwie Malmsteen and it sort of pales into insignificance in terms of the sort of technical ability. I'm not saying he hasn't brought a lot to the table. He's an amazing player. And he's got a lot of personality in his playing, that's for sure. But if you can meld some of that amazing personality that people have brought to the rock scene, but add a dash of your own thing. Just a little bit of you being you.
Those two guitars working together like that, it's going to sound awesome.
If you get it right, it's one of those things that has the tendency to really, really work when it works and be a cataclysmic error when it doesn't. I remember in the very early days of my band when Alex had first joined, going back I guess about nine years or so ago now, and we worked out a lot of twin guitar stuff and we really wanted to kind of be better than the last thing that we worked out. So we put our stamp on it, did our thing with it. And what was kind of cool is we thought, right, we've got Prince's Purple Rain, the classic. We're going to double time the end, which I'd seen the drummer do when I'd done an open mic once. We thought, that's pretty cool, but now let's do something special with that so it goes somewhere rather than just end in a massive solo with nothing else. So we wrote a whole section and we were wanting it to be challenging and difficult. We wanted jaws to drop. We wanted people to go, wow, how the hell would you play that? Like, let alone together. But to get it to that stage and that level where we could do it, we had to go through the pain barrier. One time we went into the studio, we had a rehearsal, and we were really excited. Oh, I've got this cool thing we're going to do with Purple Rain, just you watch. Really. And it was just a mess. Yeah. It was a mess. It's like we'd both been pushed down a massive flight of stairs with our guitar strapped to us and turned up to 11.
It's very comforting.
It sounded absolutely atrocious. Yeah. And so we were like, okay, sorry about that, guys. What we're going to do, we're going to work with the metronome. We're going to make sure we're totally sure of our parts because these are technically difficult parts. And we're going to come back. Book another rehearsal and we'll come back. We will nail it. And we did. Yeah. But, you would not have got that, I don't think, on a record back in 1971 or
no,
1968.
Definitely not.
I mean, Jimmy Hendrix.
If anyone's in Brighton, come and check them out.
Come and check out Full House. Yeah. But we sort of tried to take rock and take our opportunities and chances with it where we can. Yeah. And give things a little bit of a twist. If I want to go and listen to the record, I can buy a CD for next to nothing. Yeah. And sit in my room and listen to it. I want the audience to be excited about what they're hearing. Yeah. And that means bringing some of the guitar sounds maybe a little more up to date, bringing some of the guitar solos into the 21st century. Yeah. Bringing some of the twin guitar stuff that's really pretty hairy to the table. I mean, we did U2's With or Without You, and we just decided, it's a great song, but it's kind of like boring.
It is a bit boring, yeah.
It's an atmospheric tune. It would work great in a film or something like that. Yeah. And so what we did was we took it and we wrote a whole middle section with very melodic and in harmony with each other guitar sort of bit. Yeah. And so there's plenty of room for manoeuvre. Yeah. With some songs, not with everything, but with some songs there is. So take those chances. Try and come up with something that's cool. If if the original record only had one guitar on the track, you are going to have to obviously fight a little bit for space. Yeah. And find something where you can shoehorn in what you've got to do. And as I say, don't be afraid for a verse or so to duck out. Okay. If we play Mr. Brightside, it's a single guitar song. Yeah. So I'll come in from the pre-chorus and chorus, but I won't come in the verses because it's too much, doesn't need it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
That's all right. I hope that's been helpful. Anyway.
Really helpful, yeah. Just what I need to be working on.
No worries.